Frances McCullend is being framed by the boogeyman. The only one who can help her is an imaginary friend named Larry.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah.
So, leave the light on. Keep the door open. And whatever you do, don't look under the bed. Don't miss the Saturday premiere, Saturday, October 9th at 7:30, 6:30 Central on Magical World of Disney.
Oh yeah, everybody. Welcome back to another hot episode of a very special podcast. This is the podcast which talk about all of your favorite TV series from yesteryear, and then we discuss it over a glass of wine. I'm your boy, Patrick M. Dunn, and I'm joined here by my imaginary friend herself, Kat Halstead, the author. Welcome back, Kat Uga.
I'm imaginary, eh?
I mean, I have never physically met you, so I have zero proof that you actually exist. Like, I could just be... So everyone else listens to this podcast, and it's just me talking to myself for an hour and a half every week.
That would be really awkward.
What's that Ryan Gosling movie where he has, like, the real doll as a girlfriend, and everyone just goes along with it?
Lars and the real girl.
Yeah, it's like Lars and the fake podcast host. Oh, Patrick and the fake podcast host, and the whole world's all of our 15 fans are going along with it, like the whole world. Like the whole world listens to this thing.
They're like, don't worry, Patrick. We're going to help you pretend that Cat exists.
You know what? I'm really just calling up, like, I don't know, a janitor's closet somewhere, and there's just like a mop and bucket. You're just a mop.
Yeah, I'm just the mop in Elaine's janitor closet apartment so she can order the flounder.
Right across from the guy that has a lot of potatoes.
Exactly.
And the lady on the right who's got the annoying cat.
Mm-hmm.
What a time. Anyway, we're still here. I think we're closing up Here Comes the Booze 2020, right? This is the grand finale, or do we have a bonus boo, right? We kind of like...
No, we have one more.
Okay. We kind of fucked this one up. We kind of fucked this up.
We have one more.
If you listened to last week's episode, I said we're going to do a bonus boo. We actually had a regular episode, and then this was going to be the bonus boo, but we're bonus booing, and then we're doing a regular episode. How are we doing it?
I guess so. I mean, hey, it's our podcast. It goes how we want.
Yeah. Or you know what? Or maybe we can just cut this whole segment out. We just never, we just go into what we were originally going to go into, and then play this one after. Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows? We don't know.
We'll figure it out come October, because it's like, I don't know, it's still summertime. Living's easy.
Yeah, okay, it's still summer, but some of us have already had the first snow of the year.
I know, what the fuck? Like, where do you live, girl? In the mountains?
I live in Colorado!
I know. That was a test.
You saw the pictures?
Did I? Did I see the pics? Did I see the hot pics? Oh, the cold pics?
I think so. I posted them on the Instagram stories.
I don't know. It's 2020. Everything just blends. Everything's a hot blur. All right. I'm excited about today's episode. I'm super excited about this. This is something that we talked about in our private life about doing it maybe 4 years ago.
Yeah.
We just didn't do it for some reason. I don't know. We never found a good copy.
It is not something that was easy to find. It was available for a short period of time at one point, but it was too far ahead for us to do a podcast about it.
I think you brought up, hey, we should do it for Here Comes the Booze in April.
Yeah,
and it was everywhere. It was all over the place.
It was okay, so what we're doing is a DCOM, and it got released on the Disney app when they were about to release their 101 DCOM, but they were claiming it was the 100th. So they released all the DCOMs on the Disney app for a short period of time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we would have had to have watched this in April, recorded it, and sat on it for 6 months or more.
Yeah.
I don't know, a long ass time, and released it. But we weren't, I was going to say we have our shit together now, which we definitely don't. But back then we definitely didn't have our shit together. So all right, it'll be available. We'll find it. We weren't quite worried about it.
Yeah, we didn't think Disney was going to take them all down, after a month or something.
And they did. Fuck you guys. But you brought it back, so good for you. Kudos to you. So it fell off the radar, and we decided to do another movie that year, Crybaby Lane, which was a Nickelodeon, an NCOM, or a NOM, Nickelodeon original movie. Like we hated the movie. It was an incoherent mess. I think like I admitted to falling asleep like 30 minutes into the movie and I missed like a chunk of time. And I just remember saying to you, like, I'm not going back and watching the missing 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. And you're like, I'll fill you in. And then you like tried to explain it to me. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So we actually like recorded the episode. And I think we were like 30 minutes into the episode. And I was like, do you still want to do this? And you're like, no. And we just stopped. We just like gave up mid podcast.
No, I think we actually recorded a whole episode. I don't know.
I mean, I think we finished.
The audio still exists.
I mean, I think we finished the episode. We just hated the movie. We just couldn't even make sense of the story. It was this weird Nickelodeon movie. It only aired once. It scared the fuck out of little kids everywhere. Like a bunch of parents wrote in.
And the parents like were like, no, you can't air this. It's too scary.
And then it didn't exist for like 10 years. It was like an urban legend of sorts. And then, I don't know, like the Noggin or whatever that weird Nickelodeon cable channel. Teen Nick like aired it one night. And it kind of came, people like, oh yeah, this was real. This does exist.
Yes.
Like the Santa M&M commercial.
It does exist.
So we finally tracked it down, and like we tracked down like a horrible copy. Actually, we got the original copy on YouTube, right? Because like Melissa Joan Hart like intros it.
Yeah, something wild like that. I don't really remember. That was so long ago.
And I don't know, we just weren't here for it. Frank Langella's in it though. Shout out to him. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, like maybe like a wrestler. Like was there like a WWF star in it for something?
No, I remember like the dad was like more concerned with watching monster trucks than whatever the hell was going on with the kids.
Oh yeah, they were like sneaking out of the house and riding around town on their bikes late at night. It's like Stranger Things before Stranger Things was a thing. The movie that we selected, it's called Don't Look Under the Bed. It was released on October 9th, 1999. This too also had only aired maybe once or twice on Disney Channel, and then a bunch of parents wrote in and got this banned also.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, parents were not happy with this one. I can kind of sort of see why. A little bit. Like, I think it depends what age your kids are. But at because like we were 18 when this came out.
Oh yeah. Like so, this was tame, and like we had survived like all the Scream movies.
Yeah, we've like
I know you did last summer. Urban Legend.
Yeah, we've watched like Freddy and Jason and Michael Myers. Like for a Disney Channel movie, it's pretty dark.
Yeah.
Like when I was watching it last night, my boyfriend was like, "What the hell is this? This is really dark for you." And I looked at him. I'm like, "Whatever, man. Just watch the movie."
Like I was thinking maybe it was the boogeyman character that like might have scared the fuck out of little kids.
Yeah.
I mean, even he was kind of goofy and tame compared to today's standards. Like I just can't imagine a child being like freaked the fuck out of that. But like then I was like a couple months ago I watched Smart House and I was like Smart House seems like a lot more scarier than this. I don't know why.
Oh man, I love those old DCOMs. They don't make them like that anymore.
Before we get into the movie, you want to paint that night? You want to paint this hot night of television? It's actually a very mediocre night. I'm just going to throw this out there. Like, I'm actually, like, putting my foot down.
He's actually admitting it's a mediocre night, not trying to build it up to something else.
No.
Amazing. Okay, it's October 9th.
It's a Saturday.
1999.
It's a Saturday, so you know nothing's on.
We're seniors in high school. Patrick is probably out smoking pot somewhere.
No, not this year.
I'm at home on AOL.
All right, so tonight, things kicked off ABC with a movie, Saturday Night at the Movies, the 1996 like Kurt Russell movie Executive Decision.
Okay.
I think Steven Seagal's in it also. Remember it? Do you remember this at all?
Vaguely.
This had they were like trapped on a plane, I think, and Kurt Russell's in it, Steven Seagal, Halle Berry. I think this was like one of her first like breakthrough roles.
Okay.
Anyway, it was on all night from 8 to 11. Probably like 8,000 commercials. All right, but CBS is all new.
Only way to make it that long, my God.
CBS is all new. I'm actually like low-key, like kind of into CBS, but like this was my like fallback. Like if my plans got canceled, I'd be like, all right, I'll just watch CBS because there's nothing else on. Any guesses? Any hot guesses? What was on tonight?
I cannot comprehend what was on CBS.
Things kick off at 8 o'clock with a little show called Early Edition. Do you know this?
That's the TV show with the guy who gets the paper a day early, and then he like tries to like save people or do good.
Yeah, he gets the paper like 24 hours early or something like that, and he has a whole day to undo whatever's going on. And I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I may have seen it a few times. I don't quite remember too much.
Yeah, I think I maybe watched it once or twice, but not oh, I have to watch this show.
I just know Kyle Chandler's in it. That's all I remember.
Yes.
But I definitely watched this show a few times. The 9 o'clock slot. Any guesses? You're never gonna get it, but
I don't. I can't even I just don't know.
All right. So this show actually had crossover episodes with both Early Edition and the show that was on after it. Do you remember a little show called Martial Law?
I mean, this is totally the Nash Bridges Walker Texas Ranger era, right?
Oh yeah. I always thought it was a spin-off of Nash Bridges, but it's not. So this actually, this show had martial arts superstar Sammo Hung. I guess he was a big guy in the 70s. He's an older guy now. And Arsenio Hall's in it. And Kelly Hu from Sunset Beach is also in it too. And they're located out of Los Angeles. They kind of they work for the police, but they're like a kung fu division of it. So they get involved in kung fu related crimes. Because
kung fu related crimes are just all over the place in 1999?
I guess there's a main villain in the first season who is inspired by kung fu, and he has ninjas and stuff that work for him. So they need Sammo Hung and friends to come join the police squad or whatever. Yeah, I guess it was a thing. I mean, I think this is right after what was it? Lethal Weapon 4 was a thing, and that had Jet Li in it, and Jet Li kind of sprung forth this renaissance of kung fu related movies. We got Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was exported maybe a year later, and a few other movies.
Crazy thing.
Yeah.
Crazy fun fact about Kat: Lethal Weapon 4 is my favorite of the Lethal Weapon movies.
I'm gonna throw this out there. It's actually really good. It's a really good movie.
I love that movie. I will rewatch that one over and over again.
All right, here's my...
You get Joe Pesci and Chris Rock, and it's just fucking hilarious.
Do you want my official Lethal Weapon series ranked? I'll even include the TV series with Stifler. All right, we're going to get Lethal Weapon 1, Lethal Weapon 4, Lethal Weapon 3, Lethal Weapon 3, then Lethal Weapon 2, then Lethal Weapon the series, and bonus points go to Loaded Weapon 1. And then even more bonus points to Lethal Weapon 7 on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. They're within the show movie.
Okay.
They're not official canon. That's why they're kind of bonus addendums.
Yeah.
Extra levels. So that was Martial Law. It was on for 2 years. CBS actually renewed it for a third season, but the series lead, Sammo Hung, he hated the direction that CBS moved in for season 2. That he was fuck you guys, and he left the show. He quit. He just picked up shop and skipped town. And
who does he think he is? Anna Faris quitting Mom in the 7th season?
Yeah, that's probably his final season. just letting fucking what's her name to sit around and do all the legwork. Is her mom coming back? I don't know. The show's called Mom because it's her mom, but I don't know.
And she's the mom. I don't know. So what's on after Martial Law?
Any hot guesses?
Nash Bridges.
No, that was a Friday night staple. It's cousin.
Oh, okay.
It's Southern cousin, Walker, Texas Ranger, with Chuck Norris. This was a show.
Okay.
This is a show that was on forever. The show was on, it feels like decades. It was only probably on for 8 years, but it felt like it was on for decades. USA reran it all the time. Your grandmother loved this show. Everybody's grandparents loved this show. After Murder, She Wrote ended, Walker, Texas Ranger took over for some reason. I don't know why. No one knows why.
You were close. It was 9 seasons.
9 seasons. I knew they didn't hit 10 years, but I was it felt like an eternity.
Totally understand.
It lives in this time warp. You ready for a hot night at Fox? Non-stop Fox?
Give me what was on Fox, because right now, I don't know what I was watching. I was probably watching this movie.
A full hour of Cops. Bad boys, what you gonna do? Then followed by America's Most Wanted. So this was their thing. This is what they were known for, Saturday nights.
Okay, yeah, I definitely wasn't watching Fox.
And then NBC had the New York Yankees versus the Texas Rangers. So we get kind of dueling Texas Rangers tonight.
That's what I was watching. I was watching the Yankees versus the Rangers.
All right, you want to take a guess who won? You want to take a hot guess? I get the score. I get the final score.
Yankees.
You got it, girl. And hold on. What do you think was the most watched program this night?
Yankees versus the Rangers.
No.
What was it?
Way off. Walker, Texas Ranger, with 8.5 million people watching Walker, Texas Ranger.
Damn.
And the Yankees game wasn't even top 2. Top 2 that night was Martial Law. And guess what? The Yankees game is not even top 3. Early edition. So CBS was like, they owned Saturday nights back in the day.
What the hell, man?
So that's at night of television on a scale of 1 out of 5 early edition newspapers that you receive in the morning. How many early editions that you receive in the morning would you give this night?
This is like a bad night. This is like a 1.
Yeah, I'd go for a 1. You know what? I'd probably was like cabling it this night. Maybe there was like a fun like Sci-Fi Channel movie on, or I don't know, maybe like Comedy Central had like Half Baked on or something. Who knows?
Yeah, like
who knows?
I was literally probably watching the Yankees
or
game.
just DCOM. They're about to get into. All right,
or the DCOM, or this is when we had satellite. So I got the East Coast and West Coast Disney Channel feeds. So I probably watched both.
Oh, look at you! So you got to watch this early. You probably watched Don't Look Under the Bed at like 6 p.m. And then at 8 p.m., then you flipped on the game. You checked out the game.
That's probably what it was.
All right, you ready to get into this wild world? The wild world of Middleburg. Is it Middleburg? Is that the name of the town?
Yeah, Middleburg. It's supposed to be like your average little tiny U.S. town where, life is just like quaint and sweet and nothing weird ever happens, so that when something weird does happen, it's like WTF.
Yeah, the town erupts. The town erupts in confusion.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is this like a Midwest town? Like, there's definitely mountains in the background, so like I was trying to like figure out.
Okay. It filmed in Utah.
Utah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like just your little small, any town USA kind of thing. So we got this family, and it's the middle of the night, and something makes the clocks go ahead like 3 hours and wakes everybody up.
Hold on, can we just very quickly go through the, actually, I only kind of want to talk about one person in the cast. The dad in this movie is like that. He's that actor, what's his name, Steven Tobolowsky or something?
Yes.
Literally in everything in the world. Like, he's never had a starring role. He's never been, like, the lead. But for some reason, like, he's always, like, the fifth name in something. And he plays the dad.
I mean, he was in Groundhog's Day. He's been on Glee. He's been, like, everywhere.
All right, he's been in Mr. Magoo the movie. He's been on Falcon Crest. He's been on Knots Landing. He's been on Seinfeld. He's been on Picket Fences. He's been on Chicago Hope. He's been on The Pretender, The Drew Carey Show, The Naked Truth, Mad About You. Yeah, Mad About You. 2 Guys and a Girl, Snoops, Roswell, King of the Hill. Like, just name a TV show, he's probably been on it.
Yeah.
And he still acts today. Like, his most recent credit is Thundercats Roar, which I guess is a cartoon that's on Netflix right now.
Oh, okay.
Based on the 80s cartoon. So, Ooga, shout out to him. So that's the dad. He plays the quirky dad.
Okay.
Who's, like, super into the internet, like 1999 internet. Like, that's where he checks the weather.
Yeah, like oh my god, that was, like, so kind of wild that he's like, okay, I'm just gonna email this. And I'm like, wait, that seems so natural. Like, that makes sense in 2020. But in 1999, most people were like, we're not going to be like, oh, I'll email it. Go to our family website.
There's a throwaway line, like, early in the movie where he wants to get in touch with the school. And he's like, I'll just email the guidance counselor. And I was like, wait,
yeah.
School staff had emails in 1999? What?
Barely.
What kind of emails were they getting? Forwards? Like chainmail?
If they had email, it'd be like those awful school URLs that are like district17.jefferson.guidance.edu or something like that.
Yeah, I remember my school had an intranet that you can kind of use, but there was like nothing.
Oh god, yes.
There was like a newsletter on there that came out like they probably put out like one a year. And like at the beginning of the year, they'd put up like the calendar of events, like we're off on like these particular holidays, but they never updated it after fall. Like it just never got updated. And they kept saying like every year that, you'd be able to pull like your school schedule and stuff, but it was just always too complicated for my school system to figure it out. But I don't know. I guess it's like how they operate now though. But 1999, this is like Will Smith Wild Wild West of this brave internet world. All right. I'll let you get back into the movie.
But don't forget that the mom is also played by Robin Riker.
Oh yeah, who
She's in all kinds of stuff. She's been on soaps, different TV shows, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
She is mostly known for Bold and the Beautiful.
Oh, okay.
She's appeared in things with it. Like she's been in MASH, she's been in Fantasy Island, The Rockford Files, that crazy horror movie Alligator, as you said, Buffy and Boston Legal. So, ooga, shout out to her. I definitely remember seeing her and was like, oh, I know that bitch, but I couldn't remember what.
She's another one of those actresses that kind of makes the rounds.
Yeah.
So you see her a bit, but you're never quite sure exactly who she is. But you're going to get a solid performance out of her.
I bet Disney Channel got her. They got Robin Riker and Steven Tobolowsky. And they're like, oh my God, we got gold. We got fucking gold with this movie. Like, we are not going to lose. And this movie never aired again.
I mean, she actually has done a few different Disney movies and Disney shows.
Yeah, like what?
She was in Brink and Read It and Weep. She's been on the TV show Austin and Ally. There's something else I just saw. She's done some of like the ABC Family freeform shows.
Oh, yeah, like Switched at Birth and stuff, and those kind of shows, yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Switched at Birth. Controversial, I think, right? Was that controversial?
I don't remember anymore.
So that's the parents. They're really, like, high-strung. They, like, I feel like they try to do good. Like, they want to be good parents, but I feel like they just kind of, like, failed at being a parent, like, for their first child, the older brother, Bert.
Oh my god, the older brother is awful.
He's like...
Albert.
He's like the shittiest older brother, and they're like, oh god, we gotta try again. And they had Frances Bacon, who's the heroine of the story. She's the main star. And then they're like, all right, we did kind of good with her. Let's have another one. And they had Darwin, who about 20 minutes into the movie, we learned that he is in remission for leukemia.
Yeah.
Really dark factoid that they just throw out about this family, like 20 minutes in.
Just throw out about the family, and it's like, so the guidance counselor is completely misguided about what's going on with Frances. So, like, first, all this weird stuff starts happening at the house. Then turns out it's happening, like, all over town. Like, all the houses, their clocks got switched, like, 3 hours ahead.
Yeah, so
their alarms went off at, like, 4 a.m. instead of 7.
Yeah, they all wake up. Like, the parents' alarm goes off at the fake 7 a.m., but it's really like 4 a.m. It's still dark out. The mom's like half asleep, and she's like walking around the house, like kind of like sleepwalking, and she's like waking up all the kids.
Mm-hmm.
The kids are all like super tired. They don't know what the fuck's going on, and they're like looking outside, and like it's really dark out.
Yeah.
And the dad's like looking at his barometer, and he's like, "Well, that's weird." He's like, I don't think there's a storm coming because the barometer seems normal." He's like, "Let me go online and check the the NWS, like the National Weather Service, see what they have to say." And he's gone. He's gone for like 10 minutes because that's literally the time it would take for him to like load up the computer.
Yeah.
Dial in, bring up the website, click through like 4 pages to get where he's getting into, like logging off, shutting the computer, then like walking back in because he's like gone for a long time. And he's like, "Yeah, that's weird. The NWS website says it's 4 a.m. and they're all like, "What?"
Yeah, it's wild.
They go back to bed. Like I would have just stabbed it at that point. What would you do? What would you have done?
I have trouble sleeping. I always have. I probably would have just stayed up. I would have just like stayed up and gone on AOL.
I don't think they were just up for a short period of time. I feel like they were probably up for like 30 minutes at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like almost 5. So like you might as well just stay up. Just have like a really long, tiring day and then just kind of get back on schedule the night before and just hope this thing don't fuck up again.
Yeah.
Frances, she meets up with her, like now it's the real 7 o'clock, and her friend Joanna, comes along, who we like never see again after the scene pretty much. She's in like maybe one more scene after this.
No, we see her like a couple more times because she like keeps talking about Frances's older brother, but like to the audience, it's obvious this girl has a crush on him. But doesn't get brought up until like later when they're walking home from school, and then it's like, yeah, I like Bert.
There's like a significant age difference between them because Frances, we learn, was so smart that she skipped a grade, and like now she's a freshman in high school, but she's like 11 or 12 or something.
I think she's supposed to be like 14.
Well, I feel like that's like the normal age for 9th grade, but I don't know.
No, that's like 15.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know. Well, she skipped a grade, and Joanna seemed like a lot younger to me anyway.
Yeah,
like she seemed like a good like 2 years younger.
I think the thing is that Joanne is the same age as Frances. But Frances is in a grade above her.
So that makes her look older?
No, that's like the dynamic.
Oh, yeah, I know. But like, I was just saying, when they had Frances and Joanne together, like it just seemed like, Frances just seemed like she was older than Joanna, like,
yes, because
development-wise.
Well, okay, she is, the part of the thing is, Frances feels like she has to be grown up. She has to be mature. She can't like childish things. That's like what this whole movie is about.
I know, but like they picked like an actress that was maybe like 16, and then like they actually had like a real 12-year-old girl played Joanna.
No, okay, the actress who played Frances was 20 years old.
Oh shit, yeah, I mean I got like old vibes from her. And then Joanna was like, Joanna was actually like playing the right age of a character.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at them thinking, wow, like I can't believe they're friends. Like Frances, like she's like, give her like 2 years, she could play the mom on a WB show.
Oh, or the crazy Irish bitch Lucky brings home on General Hospital.
Or is that who that was?
Yeah.
Okay. Bert's a little bit older than Frances, right? I know they're both in high school.
So Bert This is the way I see it. Frances is a freshman in high school. She skipped the 8th grade, so now she's in 9th. Bert is in the 11th grade.
But he doesn't drive yet. He rides his bike to school.
Okay.
And he kind of seems like younger, like maturity-wise, he seems younger than Frances.
Well, yeah, because he's not forcing himself to be the more mature one. He's just like living his life.
Yeah, he's just living it up. Like, I don't know, he's like into like Jackass on MTV and stuff and stunts.
He's just like the carefree older sibling who doesn't really give a fuck, except he was like the one who was able to give bone marrow to save the little brother.
To Darwin, yes, when Darwin was in his cancer scare, which, as I said, it's just like little
it just gets dropped in out of nowhere.
It gets dropped in out of nowhere like 20, 30 minutes in, and then it becomes a major plot point for the rest of the movie. That was like my only nitpick for the whole movie, was that their biggest plot points were just throwaway add-ons, like midway or even more through the movie.
Yeah.
The first like 30 to 35 minutes of this movie, like, I really enjoyed. Like, it was legitimately an unfolded mystery. Like, we were like, wait, why are the clocks going forward?
So, like, the clocks randomly go forward for everybody, and then Frances's family is missing all their eggs, and then somebody, like, eggs one of the biology teacher's car, and, like, the dogs are up on the roofs, and somebody filled the school swimming pool with Jell-O. The thing that I didn't understand was, how did nobody notice that the pool water was red?
Yeah, we get a scene, and it's this is the best scene. Like, I think there's like a voiceover. It's like Frances, she's like, and then someone poured gelatin in the pool, and we get this like kind of this like pan scene of the school pool. It's like the indoor pool, and we just see 2 legs sticking out of the pool, like someone was like dived in and they got stuck.
Yeah.
And then
how did nobody notice?
I don't know, because it was red Jell-O. And then like someone had like, they had taken, like the little like skimmer net thing that they used to like scoop like, I don't know, like dead animals out of a pool or like bugs.
Yeah.
Someone was like holding that and like flicking it at this poor lady's legs and being like, grab onto this. And you can just hear her going, I can't, my arms are stuck.
That was the thing I didn't get, is like, how did nobody, like, one, how much goddamn Jell-O did that take? 2, how did nobody notice?
I mean, this is mystical circumstances.
True.
It wasn't like a prankster, which the school believed that there was a prankster behind it. It was mystical circumstances. So Frances is like, she was trying to explain everything with logical explanation. So she like has like a notebook out and she's like keeping tabs of everything that's going on. And she's like writing down the names and addresses of all the houses that the clocks went forward on and stuff like that. And she even like talks to her biology teacher about it. Kind of comes into play in a few more moments. But there's also like, she keeps also seeing this one guy all over campus that no one else can seemingly see. Cause she's like, why does that guy keep following us? And Joanne's like, who? And she's like, that guy right there on the rocks.
And she thinks he's cute. She's definitely attracted to him.
Oh yeah.
So she's like, hi. It was so awkward.
I have a theory at the end of the movie. So they keep seeing this guy, he keeps popping around, and she finally like runs into him in the cafeteria and she's like, who are you, by the way? And he's like, I'm Larry Houdini. And he is like being straightforward. He's like, I'm invisible, you can't see me, I was sent here for a reason. I don't know what that reason is, but I think it's because of you. And he's trying to explain to her, you know, all these weird circumstances of this town and Middleburg seem to be revolving around you, Frances Bacon. She's not having it. She's like, there's a logical explanation for this, and she just kind of like runs home. And
there are all these like things going on in school, and someone tags all over town the letter B, and the only locker that the B isn't on the outside of is Frances's. So this is when everybody starts to believe that Frances is the one doing everything.
And they believe it's also her because it's the letter B and Bacon is her middle name.
Yeah.
I think there's like a line where like the principal's like, are you aware that bacon starts with the letter B? And she was like, is there another way to...
It's so ridiculous.
She's like, is there another way to spell bacon? Oh, it's great.
And this is where the school guidance counselor gets involved, and she thinks that Frances is acting out because her brother had cancer and got all the attention, and she felt like she had to save him and give him the bone marrow. And the mom's like, well, that's a nice theory, but it was actually our older son who donated the bone marrow. And you can see like the guidance counselor just like deflate over, like, getting her theory wrong.
And then I think, isn't she like, well, maybe it's because she couldn't donate the bone marrow. Like, she just immediately comes up with a new theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was where they introduced, like, the cancer scare, like, at that point in the episode. So I was like, whoa, like, this is getting pretty dark for a DCOM.
Yeah, it's like, wait, hold on.
So the little boy, not the little boy, like the little invisible teen, he's basically like a teenager. He's like a 14-year-old kid. He keeps popping up around and he's like, oh,
yeah,
I think this is the working of the boogeyman. And Francis is like, the boogeyman? Like, what? Like, what are you talking about?
Like, dude, like, the boogeyman, there's no such thing as the boogeyman or invisible people. And he's like, dude, I'm invisible to everybody but you right now.
He's trying to prove it. So they're in a filled cafeteria. He's like jumping on a table, doing backflips and singing a song and like juggling and stuff and like banging cymbals together. And nobody's looking. And I was like questioning, how come no one saw her like talking to nobody?
Like, here's the thing is, one, I don't think she really has any friends at the school.
Yeah, well, because she's like super young compared to everybody else.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks she's strange.
Like, oh, that smart girl.
They're like, oh, fucking that Baconator from Wendy's.
And then,
a 20-year-old, 14-year-old.
So at some point, her little friend Jo confesses to having a crush on Bert, and she only tells Francis. And the boogeyman takes marigolds and plants them in the yard to spell out Joe Hart's Bert. So, like, that's when Joe's like, it's you. You're the one doing all this because you're the only one I told. And I'm sitting there like, bitch, it's fucking obvious you like this guy.
And she storms off.
Like,
I think she storms off. I think that's the last time we see her.
That's like the last time we see her.
Yeah, like I kept waiting for her to come back. Like I kept waiting for like a redemption at the end where she's like, I always believed you. But no, like Joanne's gone. Like she gone, girl. She out. She got boogeymaned. Yeah, so I think now the mom, because of the guidance counselor, mentions like a few things about the biology teacher's car being egged, and the mom was like missing eggs out of her refrigerator. So she's like, wait a second. Mm-hmm. So she is like, actually, maybe the guidance counselor is right. Mm-hmm. So she kind of like brings it up to the dad, and the dad's like, we got to tiptoe at this. Like they're just clueless like how to raise their kids because they got like 3 completely bonkers kids, and they got to like raise each one differently.
And the parents are not like filling the normal gender roles either.
No,
like the dad does the housework and the cooking for the most part.
The mom is like an attorney, I think. I don't know. Like, what does the mom do for a job?
I guess I don't know.
I don't know. She was wearing these like nice like power suits.
So like the parents,
I feel like,
like the dad definitely works because he comes home in suits. Oh, he's like some kind of like a PhD or something.
I feel like he probably like works at the local community college. Like he's probably an adjunct teacher. Like he works like only like 3 days a week or something. Teaches like chemistry or something.
Maybe.
I don't know. That's the kind of vibe I got from him. But he's into like weather, so maybe he's like the I don't know, like the meteor, like he could be the local meteorologist too.
He could be. So yeah, the family dynamic is not average, and it's definitely different for a Disney movie too. But like the dad goes to like get some, he's like, where's all my Jello? And I'm thinking, how much Jello did he have? Was it enough to make a pool?
Oh shit!
Full?
I'm worried about diabetes for the dad.
They're like, oh yeah, the swimming pool at school got filled with Jello. So it's like the missing eggs, and the teacher's car got egged, and then the Jello was missing, and the school pool was filled with Jello, and they're kind of like,
and the marigolds.
They think Frances is acting out. They think they pushed her too hard to skip a grade, and she's acting out.
But they don't know how to approach her together because they each have like different styles of parenting. So like the mom's approach differs from the dad's approach. I think the dad's kind of like...
Yeah, the dad just wants to be like, you're grounded.
Yeah,
you're grounded.
But the mom wants to kind of like go in and talk to her and like talk about emotions and feelings. But Frances is like literally innocent. Like she's not involved in any of this. So she like doesn't know how to answer the questions. Like she just keeps being insinuated, kind of like framed for all these crimes.
Yeah.
I don't know, like the evidence just keeps piling up. So it gets difficult for her. And then...
It really does get difficult.
We kind of get to a point where now Frances like slowly starts believing. So she goes with Larry Houdini, the imaginary boy. They go to the library, and she's confused because like all the kids can see Larry. Like they're like, hey Larry, like when he walks in, and he's like, hey kids.
Yeah.
She's confused because she's like, wait, I thought you were invisible. And he's like, I am, but little kids can see me. And she's like, well, that doesn't fucking make any sense. Like, none of this is logical. So he's like, well, I know there's a book that will explain it. And she's like trying to like explain like the card catalog system to Larry, which is just like a wild concept watching today.
Yeah, the card.
And
There's a thing where you go. There was a big box you used to go to with little drawers, and that's how you found stuff.
They find this book. It's this like old timey book. They gotta like blow the dust off it. And it's the book about like imaginary friends or something like that. And it's dedicated to Larry.
Yeah.
And she's like, wait, this book's dedicated to you? Like, she's all confused. And then like she's talking aloud and like the librarian keeps telling her to shush. But
yeah,
Larry Houdini is like causing a commotion, like making a scene, like flips off the rafters, and no one's like telling him to be quiet. So she's like, this is weird. And then like all of a sudden, like he's on like the TV monitor that's at the library. Like,
yeah, there's like a TV monitor for story time.
Are you for real? Like, am I like what is in this town's water? What's in Middleburg's water?
Like, she has got to be thinking there's like something psychologically wrong with her.
No, that's not what's wrong with her. The boogeyman is real. The boogeyman is now in town. He's causing all these sick pranks, and mostly on Frances, mostly on her. They revolve around her. But Larry's like, you know what? The key to this is we got to figure out. And Larry's like, is there anything you have to tell me? Like, have you ever been involved in any kind of mysterious circumstances? Are you involved in have you ever had an imaginary friend before? And she's like, no, I've never had an imaginary friend.
And she's like, no, of course not. Never. I don't believe in imaginary friends. And he's like, what do you think I am, bitch?
Who am I? Who am I to you? You can see me, I can see you. But then we learn shortly thereafter that Frances's younger brother, Darwin, Larry is actually his old imaginary friend.
And that's when Larry gets kind of pissed off, because he finds out that Frances told Darwin that he shouldn't believe in his imaginary friend. He needs to grow up because it would help him defeat the cancer, and believe in the doctors, and believe in like what he can actually touch and feel and see, yada yada.
Science.
Believe in the science.
Yeah, so I guess we kind of start to learn about the mechanics of this world. So if you're a young child and you have an imaginary friend, there is like a logical point in time where the child is supposed to stop believing in the imaginary friend, and he just kind of like peacefully goes off into imaginary friend heaven. Mm-hmm. But if he prematurely rejects his imaginary friend, like through abnormal circumstances, something horrible happens. Chaos is created. So yeah, that's apparently what is happening in Middleburg.
Yeah, so Larry's kind of upset with Frances because of this, but he's still trying to build this thing to get rid of the boogeyman.
A temporal fuge.
But he is also starting to turn. He's starting to turn into the boogeyman himself.
Yeah, so I guess in this world, if you prematurely are rejected by your real life boy, you eventually become the boogeyman. And the only way to stop the boogeyman is this wacky device called a temporal fuge. It's basically made out of like a vacuum cleaner, I don't know, like a flashlight, like a colander, just like random household appliances. And I guess like it speeds up the aging process is what it does. I don't know. It's not really explained.
Yeah, it doesn't really, like, they're building all their hopes and dreams on this thing for, like, when they actually go under the bed. Because the boogeyman does come and he, like, takes Darwin under the bed to, like, boogie world.
But before we get there, though, I think Frances is like, well, where does, like, a boogeyman live? And Larry's like, well, he lives under the bed. And she's like, well, that's fucking ridiculous because, like, you know, like, I have things under my bed. And he's like, yeah, but it's like a different plane of existence. It's like and it's kind of like you gotta like move the curtain a little bit.
Yeah.
There's like an invisible curtain. And then you just go into these little pockets of
Yeah, it's just like this whole other realm that's under your bed.
Pockets of unknown realms. Yeah, so they have to catch the boogeyman first, so like they create this like goop. It looks like Nickelodeon Gak, purple slimy thing. It's made out of like gym socks, and like all this disgusting stuff.
So Larry's cooking this up and it smells disgusting while the guidance counselor is over for dinner. And it's just like that one of those awkward dinners where it's like, why do you have this person in our house?
Well, I think she was going to try to get through to Frances. This is like...
Yeah, she was trying to get through to Frances. Not like she actually needs to get through to her, though. Like, there's...
I think the parents, like, were kind of like, we'll try it one more time. Maybe the guidance counselor was right, kind of thing. Like, maybe we'll do it. But, of course, the guidance counselor comes over when Larry's making this, like, weird goop stuff, so the house stinks for some reason. Mm-hmm. And I guess if Larry cooks something in, like, his fantasy world... it exists in the real world.
And it's just everywhere. It's disgusting.
Yeah, so like they use this goop to try to lure the boogeyman. So I guess like a spoonful of it like falls on the floor. Darwin steps on it. And then he goes up and he plays in Francis's room. He's playing with his dinosaurs. And because the boogeyman lives under Francis's bed, he smells the goop. So he comes out. He grabs Darwin, like locks him up in this giant gym sock. So Darwin gets pulled into this like boogeyman world. It's like this world of like forgotten toys, things that are just randomly left under beds, like peanut butter jelly sandwiches.
Like batteries.
Plates of food. I don't know, like a marble, like an old toy car that just like rolled under there and no one ever went under and grabbed. They plug in the temporal fuge because it's like, it's attached to like an actual vacuum and it's got this giant extension cord.
Yeah.
And they're like going through the world, but then like the cord accidentally becomes unplugged. So like it doesn't actually work. They can't stop the boogeyman. So Frances is like, I guess, like smart at science. So she like knows she takes the 9-volt battery they find and she like coils the end of the wire to the battery coils. Yeah. Which is enough to power this giant device.
Listen, Boogie World has different rules, obviously.
Physics different in Boogie World. So they turn on the temporal fuge. The boogeyman ages like 1,000 years in like 10 seconds and like explodes, then comes back, and hold on, it's like an old-timey like English lady.
Yes, who kind of looks like the doll in Francis's room that keeps like turning its head to look at her.
Yes.
Throughout the movie.
Yes, and then we learn that the woman it turned into is actually Francis's, who used to go by the name Franny back in the day. Franny's
only to the imaginary friend. The imaginary friend is the only one who ever called her Franny.
Franny's imaginary friend Zoe. And she's like a feminist because she's like, I'm not a boogeyman, I'm a boogie person.
Oh, yes. You hear it like several more times throughout this movie.
Yeah, and there's like...
I'm a boogie person.
There's like 6 minutes left and we hear it like 7 times. So anyway...
Yeah.
The movie, it's like wrapping up and Frances is like, oh, like I'm so glad like I got you back now. She's like, this is the perfect time of my life. I need you both you, Larry, and both you, Zoe. This is like a change in time for me. And they're like, oh, you must know that we're going away. Because, you know what? You're too old for imaginary friends.
Yeah.
And then Larry's like, before I go, though, I got to give you a big smooch. And they, like, make out. They do this, like, hot makeout scene.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was looking at this, like, weird thing, like that the teenage version of an imaginary friend is hormones. That was like kind of the vibe I was getting.
Okay, yeah.
Where you don't start imagining like imaginary friends to play with. You start thinking of, boys and stuff. So that was like where my mind kind of went. So I was like, ooh, that's a brave, bold move for a DCOM.
Yeah, and the director had to fight to keep that kiss in.
Really?
Because the actor who played Larry was black and the actress who played Frances was white.
I don't know how old the actor was, but I mean, Frances is like a 20-year-old woman.
I think he was like 18.
Yeah, I got like older kid vibes from him.
Because he's our age now.
Okay, so yeah, he would have been 18. Yeah, I definitely got like older kid vibes from him. So like that's like basically the movie. Oh, except there's like a wrap-up scene where Frances and Darwin are like, they're like laying in bed cuddling. Like he's like afraid. He's afraid of, what it's going to be like to be a grown-up, and she's like, it's fun, or something, even though she had, like, a horrible, 3 years.
Yeah.
He's like, what's it going to be like when I'm your age? And she's like, oh, it's amazing. It's an amazing time. I'm like, girl, you just, had, the shittiest 3 years of your life. You have, your only friend doesn't go to the same school as you, and then, literally, monsters came and nearly destroyed your life.
Yeah, and now they're going to go off together as a team and save another town from a boogie person.
Oh, yeah, there's, before Larry and Zoe, vanish, they're like, oh, we just got a report about, in Centerville, there's some strange happenings going on, so, you get some fucking young kid over there just to stop believing too early. and imaginary friends has to deal with the same thing. So Ooga, there's like a mythology to this. This is like an ongoing thing. Ooga, what a time, what a time.
Yeah.
Overall impressions, I think the idea behind the movie is good. I think that it could probably definitely be remade as like a rated R teen horror film. You can kind of just
totally
do a different approach to it.
100%.
Yeah, I don't know, because I was kind of watching this going like, you know what, like this is actually a decent story.
Mm-hmm.
It's framed around a 9-year-old mindset, but you could totally make this into like a movie for 20-somethings, young adults.
Yeah, I totally think there's very good bones to the story. You can tell, like, there are definitely like things that probably got changed midway through filming, I think.
Yeah, it does seem doesn't seem like cohesive enough. Like the movie just kind of like gets right into the mystery. We don't really get any kind of like prologue or anything. I feel like if we got maybe like a 5-minute scene at the beginning of the movie that just kind of explained the family dynamics, might have made the movie flow a little bit differently. But I'm trying to remember, like, I think like DCOMs they usually just kind of like get into it, don't they? Isn't that it's like mold, like it's framework?
Yeah, that's pretty much, you just kind of like drop into the world and this is it, yeah.
Yeah, this is it. You don't get time for like exposition or like a 7-minute scene about like the inner workings of the family, like what the mom does and what the dad does and their parenting styles and I don't know, shenanigans involving the older brother.
It's just like, this is it.
You get one scene where like Frances like thinks her older brother's like a doofus, and like we don't get any character development from
we just accept we like barely even see the brother. Like the brother's probably the older brother's in like maybe 3 scenes.
He's in some like very integral scenes in the beginning, which they establish that he exists, and I think maybe at like a dinner scene at the end he's in it and he like laughs.
Yeah,
I feel like there's more on the cutting room floor with Albert. So Uga, you ready for the big question? You ready for the important question?
Okay.
On a scale of 1 out of 5 imaginary friends, how many imaginary friends would you give Don't Look Under the Bed?
3.5.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay. I wasn't expecting that.
I've got reasoning.
Okay.
Out of the Halloween scary DCOMs, this is my favorite.
Okay. Yeah, I can see it.
I hate with the passion of 1,000 suns all of the Halloween Town movies, the Twitches movies. I hate them.
What about Zombies or whatever that new one is?
I don't even know what that one is. I haven't even seen it.
Oh.
But like, oh my god, I am so sick and tired of fucking Halloween Town mentioning it, and I just want to like slap something.
I've never seen Halloween Town. I've never seen Twitches. I'm aware of them. I'm aware of its work, but not for me, not the target audience.
I mean, damn it, I'd love me some Debbie Reynolds, but I just, no, can't do it. It's just, ugh.
If you didn't make me watch this for the podcast, I would have never watched this. Like, I wouldn't seek this movie out. Like, I kind of went into this, like, just going to be like, I am going to hate this hour and a half. I'm going to just be absolutely miserable. It's going to be torture. But I'm going to give this, you know what? I'm going to give it a 3.5 also. I was like, you know what? I like the story. The story is actually pretty decent. The framework is there. It has, like, the makings of a good horror movie. It's just that the execution is a little off in places, and I don't know. I feel like there's no stakes either. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like there's just a little bit more stakes, but I guess you can't have like lives being threatened in a Disney Channel movie.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of do it near the end, but it's like it's not going to happen. But it's not like in the beginning of the movie, like a teen goes missing or something. It's just kind of like childish pranks.
It's like our clocks got set 3 hours ahead somehow.
Yeah, or there's like someone put all the Christmas lights out in October. What?
But somehow it blew out the power for the rest of the town.
Oh yeah, that was one of the pranks. They thought that Frances put all of the Christmas lights all on her house. One night she got up in the middle of the night and did all this work, and then it blew the power grid except for her house.
Yeah.
This is like the lamest boogeyman ever. I'm like, come on, like you couldn't like, I don't know, cause a car accident or something like a minor car accident at least.
They were too busy playing with Jell-O. I
don't know, because I was trying to think of like other child horror movies that have stakes, and I think of like Ernest Scared Stupid, where like the kids turn to stone. That like at least had stakes, like some kind of stakes,
like Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, I love Hocus Pocus.
I don't know, like, you don't have to kill a child, but maybe you could, like, freeze them, or they get, like, trapped in ice or something. I don't know.
Like, at least in Invisible Sister, the sister, like, needs to become visible again because she accidentally drank a potion that turned her invisible.
Yeah, you gotta like have some kind of stake. I don't know, maybe like 1999.
Yeah.
We're weak. We didn't want to put this kind of shenanigans in our horror movies for 8-year-old kids. I'm just like used to watching like Chucky at 10 years old though, so I'm like, oh, like the babysitter's dead.
Yes.
Oh, it's only the babysitter.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, like we don't care about the babysitter. We don't care about the babysitter. Or it's like Tina on Nightmare on Elm Street, the first like girl who dies. It's like it's only Tina. We don't care about Tina.
Like, who cares about this girl in the doggy door on the garage getting slammed?
Tatum, R.I.P. Tatum, come back to us, and Marissa from Scary Movie, the Scary Movie version. Mm-hmm. Are we closing the book on Don't Look Under the Bed? Are we gonna close the dusty book?
I think we are.
Put that dusty old book back on the shelf and come back to the dusty old book next Halloween when we...
Probably, yeah.
What'd you say? We're going to do one more scare? We got one more trick and or treat?
Yeah, we've got one more trick.
All right.
Up our sleeve.
Ooh, All right.
We are going to visit one of our favorite television characters ever.
Yes, we've visited him. Actually, he's visited us a few times. He flew into Nantucket.
Yeah.
With his wife Lilith, and we dropped it on his bar, his like home bar, a few times on chairs. But this time we're going to his turf.
We're going to Seattle, baby.
Yeah, we're going to the Great Northwest. We're gonna go to see the Space Needle. We're gonna go to I don't know, Kurt Cobain's house. Maybe we'll go to the Singles apartment from the movie Singles. Who knows?
Fuck yeah!
We're gonna hang out with Bridget Fonda. Maybe go, I don't know, see Pearl Jam play at a small club. Who knows? Alice in Chains. I don't know. It'll be a great time. We're gonna do a Halloween episode of Frasier, right? A little.
Yes, we're gonna do a Halloween episode of Frasier, and I am so excited.
Have you ever seen this episode? Have you seen it?
Yes, I have.
All right.
The boyfriend and I did a Frasier binge last winter.
Yeah, right after your Cheers watch, right after your hot Cheers watch.
Not like right after, but like a month or two after.
Yeah, because I think when we did the Wings episode, I was like, you should do Frasier next. And you're like, I need some time. Like, I need some time away from home or something. Yeah. And you did it. You busted it out. Did you get through all, like, 11 seasons or whatever?
Yes.
Wow, how long did it take you? I don't think we've talked about this.
It took a while, but to be fair, it also happened when I, like, was like sick with that flu type thing I had last year. So I was home all the time, curled up in a blanket, sick, drunk on Theraflu and shit.
Yeah, Kat was just fucking mainlining Theraflu, just fucking, she had an IV of it, running nonstop.
Passing out, just like falling asleep in random places.
Great time to watch Frasier.
That's how you know I'm sick. I was just falling asleep, whatever.
Are there like episodes that are like a medicine blur to you in Frasier?
A couple. Just because like I would fall asleep and all that kind of stuff.
All right, I have a hot question for you before we go. I have a hot question. When you're doing a TV binge, you're rewatching a show, like let's say you're watching Cheers or Frasier or Heart of Dixie, and you kind of get like drowsy like a quarter of a way through an episode. Do you go back and rewatch it the next day, or are you just like skipping, just move along?
It depends on how far into the episode I got.
Okay. Do you have like a cut-in point, like a break, like a halfway point?
If I'm only like a few minutes into the episode and I start to fall asleep because my sleeping pill has kicked in,
you just move on.
I'll finish it the next day.
Okay.
Like that's what I did with 2.5 Men. And Raymond. But if I'm like if I'm almost done with the episode, I'm just going to pick it up where I left off and just not.
So let's say you're like 32 minutes into a Heart of Dixie episode, you fall asleep, you wake up for like the theme songs running for the next episode. You're like, oh, I've seen it before. I know what happens. I'll just keep going.
Yeah.
I kind of do the same thing. Like I have sometimes I'll be like brave and start a new episode of something, and then I immediately fall asleep, and I'm like, all right, I'll watch that tomorrow. But if I get more than like 20 minutes in, if it's like an hour long, if it's more than 20 minutes in, I just keep going.
Okay.
And where can you follow our wild adventures?
You can follow us on Twitter at Very Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr at A Very Special Podcast. You can find us on YouTube, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify, Podcast Addict, and pretty much anywhere else you listen to podcasts. You obviously found us somehow, so keep listening.
And as always,
bye!
Watch the skies for 1,000 Christmas lights put up in October-ish.